Right now, we got about 85 people that are working for us right now. Done $30 million worth of business. Still got a little old business. Well, for me, over the years, I've always said it's been by the grace of God that I've been able to achieve what I've been able to achieve. And it is a burning determination in you that requires you not to ever stop. People cannot see your vision, and it's very rare that somebody does. And a lot of your friends, if they are not entrepreneurs, will not understand what the process is that you're going through.
Yes. Welcome to Chronicles of Ambition, where we platform our today's heroes and sheroes in the entrepreneurial and political realms. Today we have with us Mr. Mark Massey of Corpcare, a janitorial services company out of the great state of Texas. Welcome, Mark. How's it going today?
Yeah, it's good, man. It's good. It's all good. Can't get much better.
Good. Brother, it's a pleasure to have you on. I've known you over the years, and I'm just thankful that you're willing to share with the people today because we have a lot to gain from your experience.
Well, I hope that I can give somebody some enlightenment in what I do and what life has been like over the last 30 years doing this.
Wonderful. Great. So, Mark, can you tell us, can you break down for everybody, what exactly does Corpcare do and how do you do it?
We're a commercial janitorial company. We do various contracts from government to private industry. We are a minority certified company organization throughout the country. And we've been doing this, like I said, for about almost 30 years, since 1992. And we've had a large array of different contracts. We're a little unique in the sense that when we first started, the way we built our company was to create a niche, and we started off doing stadiums, actually. We did World Cup in 1994 here in Dallas, and then we did the Olympics in 96 in Atlanta. And then from there, we've done American Airlines Center, Texas Motor Speedway, just really large venues, event venues. And then from there, we kind of branched out and been able to do all sorts of things from that point going forward.
Great. And Mark, so we can get an idea of the depth of your operations. Can you tell me how many people do you currently employ?
Right now, we got about 85 people that are working for us right now.
A staff of 85. That's a lot. A lot of problems.
Yeah, this is true. We used to have, at one time, we had up to 600. But I'm old, so we cut back quite a bit.
So the thing that kind of often boggles my mind is, how to really lay out the process of building such a firm. And how long have you been in existence as of right now?
1992.
Since 1992. So if my math serves me correctly, that is 18 years?
No, 28 years.
28. That's right. I'm leaving out 10. Maybe it's because I wish I was younger. All right. So look, over 28 years, how is it that you've been able to be so effective in growing the organization and really to drive this point home? Many people, I guess, wake up every day. They're allotted the same 24 hours, right?
Right.
Just aren't able to organize their time and to execute on their goals, their short-term and long-term goals like you have. So can you take me through a typical day of being Mark Massey in Corpcare? I mean, are you waking up? Are you looking at a to-do list? Have you done it last night? Are you getting up, working out to get your heart rate up? Are you on the prayer mat? What are you doing that allows for you to be so effective at this point?
Well, for me, over the years, I've always said it's been by the grace of God that I've been able to achieve what I've been able to achieve. And it is a burning determination in you that requires you not to ever stop. So for me, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is give honor to God, study a little scripture in the morning, and then I begin my day by going through all the bank accounts, verify, that everything has been processed and processed properly. And then I have an agenda that I've laid out the day before. So as I go through my agenda, I check off the pieces on the agenda that are high priority. I take care of those first thing in the morning. And then throughout the day, usually there are follow-up meetings with most of our operational staff, HR, and field operations that are out in San Angelo and Austin and other parts of Texas. My day is very seldom slow. But the one thing I've learned in being in business this length of time is you have to be determined to succeed. And succeed means that within that time frame, you will fail. No doubt about it. So you're either going to grow from your failure and learn, or just completely give up. And I'm just not one that gives up very easily.
Good. Excellent. So throughout your day, when it comes to managing your complex, your staff and operations, how is it with regard to direct reports? I mean, how have you organized things such that you're able to move, carry on different projects simultaneously? I mean, is it, do you have, site leads, or, how is the organization, how is it crafted so that you can be efficient and handle all of the aspects of the company?
What we've done is, I didn't reinvent the wheel when we started the company. I worked for a Fortune 500 company. I used to work for Nissan Motor Acceptance and worked for Marriott Corporation in administrative. So what I did is basically within our company, we duplicated a corporate structure that would require people to be managed. So what we've done is we embrace technology, which is a big thing for us, considering that we do janitorial. Most people think it's just going out cleaning buildings. But what we've done is we've embraced technology like Swept, which allows us to have geo fences around each one of our facilities that we control. We are able to see when people clock in and clock out at that facility. We're able to track their time. We're able to allow them, to empower them to be able to report to us any issues that occur. And what we've done is the structure that we have that follows underneath that is we have an operational piece with quality control personnel that monitor each and every contract on a weekly basis and do inspections through SWEPT. Also, our HR piece that is directly connected through SWEPT as well, that she talks to most of the employees on a consistent basis to keep us aware of what's going on. And our structure is a multi-tiered structure. So I'm basically at the top, where I control bidding and make sure that the finances are there. Then we have, of course, account managers that are on each one of the accounts. I'm of the philosophy that years ago a guy told me you could either pay somebody a little money and sit in the parking lot and watch them rob you blind, or you can pay them a little bit more and go home and get you some sleep. So I like to sleep. So each one of our contracts has a structure where we have an account manager, if it's large enough. We have an account manager, we have supervisors, and then team leads, and each one of them control that particular contract. One of our contracts is Toyota headquarters. This sits as its own entity by itself, and it's completely controlled by that team. If it's a smaller contract, the smaller contracts are controlled by our quality control personnel who are present on a weekly basis. Our philosophy here is that we catch it while it's smoking before it turns into a full blaze. So because we have these multi-tiers of inspections, this is the biggest difference, I think, in our company and a lot of other small companies that they don't have is that a man told me years ago, he's making $60 million a year. He said, Mark, anybody can make the money, but can you keep it and control what you've made? And so my whole philosophy is to control the scenario. I make sure that we have enough management to oversee the people rather than turn them loose. Because if you turn them loose, there's no telling the quality of product that you'll end up with. And believe me, we don't even advertise, and we can't keep up with the amount of business that we get because we turn out a good quality product.
Excellent. And a question I have often is, business owners are on the cusp. So they have their entity form, they have all the ambition in the world, they've created a website, they know what they want to do, but they just don't know how to win the business and to craft a quality proposal in order to, of course, beat out the competition and win that opportunity. Where did you learn? How were you able to learn that skill? Did you have a mentor? Did you take a class? Was there a certain business advisory service, workshop, seminar, webinar, or something like that that allowed for you to understand how to compete?
No, I'm just kind of, I guess you would say I just been blessed. I hadn't taken any classes or anything like that. As I read a lot. So what I would do is I would read, and I would, over the years when I was younger, and I bid on pretty hefty contracts over the years, like $20-30 million contracts. And what I would do is for the RFPs, once they came out for something like DFW Airport, under the Public Information Act, I'm able to pull the bid.
Okay.
So what I would do is when I first started years ago, I would pull the bid and read through it and see how they wanted to have the response structured. And I could basically put it together. This is just, God has blessed me to have a logistical mind. I kind of can take chaos and make it function.
Make it work. Make it work.
I don't know why, but this is how it is.
So if I hear you correctly, instead of just going out and hopping on a two-wheel bike and falling, you would, in essence, are looking at others who are riding their bikes.
Right.
Studying their techniques.
Right.
And then, of course, looking at that in order to learn how to ride yourself, to save yourself the time and the headache and the failure.
Correct? Right. And you can implement it and then modify it to fit you. You know, it's a la carte. You know, once you look at it, just like I said, we started off in janitorial and we were cleaning garages and things like that and trying to hustle. But then I found a niche, and the niche in this particular case were events, large events. Once I got into it, there was nobody else doing it. No minorities. So I was at one time I was the only minority in the nation that was doing it. And it was, so after I found that out, I said, well, I think I might need to be certified as being Black. So that's what I did. So, and then from that point going forward, things started to open up even more because, minority participation was a big thing, especially during the Clinton administration. And it was really being pushed. So people were looking for people to participate in these RFPs that were certified minorities. And I just happened to have that niche. And I didn't see the need to recreate the corporate structure. I saw a need to modify it, but to recreate it, there's no need to do that.
No need, a time waster.
Right.
And so I'm glad you mentioned that because, of course, making sure that you apply for those certifications to help yourself get a leg up, a foot to stand on. These programs are put in place because our brothers and sisters out here need the help. And of course, generationally speaking, just in terms of their relationships and access to capital, those things that may be present for others are just not there for us. And so congratulations on recognizing that early on. I hope that other folks who are listening to this go out and seek to get those certifications also that they can compete. Right?
Yeah, it is a significant. I'm going to tell you, we wouldn't have had the success we've had in business if it weren't for those certifications. And I understand it's a lot to it, to go through the process to be certified. But once you are, you become an entity that's kind of rare. And people are looking for someone that can perform, and they have that certification, and they can use it. The corporations use it for tax breaks and tax purposes. So it's a win-win on both sides. And I don't see the need of not having it. I can't imagine not having it.
Right, right. I'm sure you and your team there have definitely made use. And one thing I'm curious about in having such a large organization, because let's just face it, having 85 people to work for you, you are in and of yourself an economic engine, right?
That's cool.
Your company, your team, your staff, your executive leadership team, what you guys have done there, of course, we all know the majority of jobs within America are created by small businesses.
That's right.
We also know that if you are to be hired, generally it's through a relationship that you have. You know someone. It's not, what you know, it's who you know, as they always say. And so in having this large organization that you have to manage, and you have to have a team members who also help you in the management of the organization. I'm curious about your management style. What is it that allows for you to identify talent to help, keep the good image of the business going and growing? What is it? How do you hire? How do you bring people on board, and how do you manage them in order to inspire them and get the best out of them while they're with you?
For me, over the years when we first started, I tried to do it myself to basically hire people. I'm not very skilled at it. I have an entrepreneurial mindset, so I take pride in what I do. And then, like I said, if I'm doing it to the glory of God, I got to try to do my very best. And other people, when you hire them, they don't look at it that way. They look at it as a pass through, because it's not for some people, it can be a life-changing amount of money that comes into their life, because I've seen people buy houses and cars. I've had people work for me for 15 years and have achieved great things, taking care of their family and children graduating from college. For me, I had to come to the realization that I'm only as strong as my weakest point. Only thing I can pick is probably management. So what I did is I hire HR people to do the hiring for me, because I'm not that great judge of character when it comes to whether this person's going to show up every day or not. I can't always hit the mark on it. So I use the corporate structure and build into the contracts. When I bid the contracts, I build that in. That's part of the administrative costs, that if you're going to hire a company, we're going to have HR, and HR can go through that process of interviewing people through, we use Indeed and Monster and all those websites to bring in people. Another portion we have in the company that I was an intricate part of this was we wanted to get back to the community. So when we do stadiums, I've had an agreement with like 7 halfway houses. So we hire people that are coming out from penitentiary as in a halfway house and give them opportunity to make some money. And it's been extremely successful. We've helped quite a few people. We've had, over the years, we probably had 2,000 people that have come through the halfway houses and worked for us.
2,000?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, over the years, we've had probably about 8,000 people work for us. It's a lot of people. A lot of people. I don't know how many in total, but about 2,000 probably came through halfway houses, and we were able to get them started on their feet, get them some income, and be able to move forward in life to get whatever they needed. When it comes to just basically learning to grow in life, and achieve something greater than just what they just come out of.
Gotcha. How did you learn about this, just the industry itself? What allowed for you to see it and to see the opportunity in it? And specifically, I'm speaking more towards, your journey in life and where you worked up until this point. Have you always been an entrepreneur? Was this, have you been a serial entrepreneur rather? Or is it that you worked, 9 to 5 for someone else, and then of course you came over into the entrepreneurial world? What was your journey or your pathway here?
All my life, I wanted to be able to have my own business. Since I was a teenager, as long as I can remember, but I knew that I needed to go to college and all those things. So I went through the process of doing all those things, and then in that process, my mother passed away, and I was young. I was 19 years old. So I decided that I was going to try and venture out and move to Texas. And in doing so, once I moved to Texas, I started working for a company, Nissan, like I said, Nissan Motor Acceptance.
But where were you from originally?
Memphis.
Well, Memphis, Tennessee. Okay.
Yeah. So I moved down here to Texas and was doing pretty good, but I was working for Nissan, and this is the truth. And they had an opportunity for a supervisor's position in my department, and that supervisor's position was one that I was well qualified for. When I applied for it, the manager told me, he said, "Mark, you have trained 13 out of the 15 people in this department." He said, "You know the systems better than I do, and you know policies and procedures better than I do." He said, "But I don't have to have that knowledge because I have you working for me." Now he was saying it as a compliment, but I kind of took it as a tag. You know what I mean? I wasn't real happy about that. Mm-hmm. And so I'm back.
Okay.
So after that, I came to the realization that, because what he did is he hired a white girl from another department and told me to train her to be my supervisor. The same position I was trying for, he hired her and then told me to train her. Mm-hmm. So I knew at that point, it was like a light bulb went off that I would never, ever make the money that I felt like I was worth, or I would never be even recognized for the effort that I put forward. So at that point, I just took everything I had. We only had like $500 and started trying this business. My wife was working at Allstate, and a guy at Allstate told her, he said, "Hey, we got a company, you can come subcontract for us." And that's what we did. We started subcontracting for them. And after that, the drive was in me. I refused. I just flat out refused to allow them to control me. I refused to allow them to hold me back anymore. I wasn't going to allow it to happen anymore. Matter of fact, I was kind of mad about it, to be truthful, for a very long time.
Totally understandable. I had a similar experience working within banking. There were, and of course in banking, one of the major things you'll find is that you don't get paid a whole lot, right?
Right.
But you are able to see and you get access to relationships with folks who are paid a whole lot.
Right.
Right. And when certain things come up and opportunities present themselves and you see, well, I know that I'm cheating myself by remaining in this position. And so for some people, I think it just forces your entrepreneurial hand,
Right. I have no choice. Mm-hmm. In the matter. Either I'm going to sit here and let you do this to me, or else I'm going to get up and do something about it. And I'd rather put my fate in my own hands rather than in somebody else's. I just couldn't do it.
I want to ask you something, and I always ask people this question, of course, and it has to relate to, like, if you had one superpower, what would it be, right? And for me, that's always time travel,
Oh, that would be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
right?
Time travel with weapons.
That would work out too. A whole different world. You understand? Um, so I'm just curious if you had if you could go back to yourself, let's say 28 years ago, and give yourself, this is like the Back to the Future moment. If you remember when he went back and when Biff went back and gave himself the almanac and he became
Right.
king of the earth almost, right? If you could go back and give yourself some of the, I guess, the best three or top pieces of information 28 years ago, what would it be?
Hmm. I know one would be to understand money a little bit better. When you're young and you make your first $1 million, you're like, wow, that's a lot of money, and it looks like in this particular industry, it was different for Jeff Bezos, but in this particular industry, you have to have a better understanding of what money actually is, and that it's a tool, and then how much of it actually can be used for something positive rather than something frivolous. If I'd had that more knowledge on that, I probably would have been financially in a better place, in a greater place. I'm not doing bad now, but I would have been in a much better place. And I think that if I had been more, well, I don't know whether I could be more focused, but more focused on direction. I kind of flew by the seat of my pants, and as things came about, I went ahead and jumped on them. I wouldn't turn down anything. As a matter of fact, it's kind of funny because I always used to crack this joke about, we'll go pick up dead bodies in Beirut if they pay enough money, and he say that all the time. Now I got a contract. That's what we do.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually work for a hospital that's a donor hospital. So we actually clean up dead bodies. So I think I would have had a different perspective on that. And I think that another thing is I would have structured it more so that I could relax more. I think that we don't function at full capacity. I think that we function at about 60% capacity. And I don't necessarily know how I could have done it better, but when you start a business, you don't sleep and you just run. But you have to have time to break down and rejuvenate yourself, recharge your batteries, and keep rolling. But it's very difficult to do because you have that drive and that ambition in you. And when you see an opportunity, you just don't walk away from it.
That's right. And it is a holiday today, so thank you for taking time out with me. So you could be resting. Look a little sleepy, brother, just a little bit sleepy. But I thank you anyway. A question to that end, when it comes to your being able to kind of relax and rewind, what are your other hobbies that allow for you to come back to business and be as productive as you are? So what else do you do?
Believe it or not, construction projects. I just finished building a fence in the backyard, but not just a fence. It's a fence. It's a horizontal fence. It's 10 feet high, because I like my privacy. We put up, I just finished building a wrought iron fence on the other part of the property, and we have brick columns. I build a lot of things, and that gives me a chance to kind of pull away from the business for a little while and hunt. I like to hunt, and I like to serve in church. I like that. Those types of things. I like to vacation, but it's COVID, so can't do that. Yeah, my wife likes it more than me though. She really loves vacations.
Right. Vacations are important.
Yes, they are.
COVID vacations are less important, but we'll see how everything works out.
Right.
You know, about your relationships, one of the things I find is a constant with successful entrepreneurs is the ability to carefully curate their circle. Meaning, of course, we push out those who do not add to us,
That's right.
or who are detrimental to us, rather. And of course, we look to include those who are a benefit, or who are, there is some synergy at play when we interact with them, when they come into our world, into our sphere. What has been your philosophy and your history with building relationships in life that have helped you thus far?
Well, for me, I agree with you. I agree that if you don't bring something to the table as far as to help me with my growth, or I can help you with your growth, is I don't understand why we're hanging out. To me, time is the most valuable thing that we have on this planet, and if I'm taking my time out from trying to achieve these goals that I've set forth and prayed about, I need to be around people that are positive. And I basically filter people that are around me by the level of positivity they have. I can't be around extremely negative people for very long. I have a very short time tolerance for that. So if I have a small group of friends, I don't, I remember TD Jake said this once. He said, you can either be a regular person and have a whole large group of friends, or be very successful and have very few. And I chose the latter. I balance my time out between a few of my close friends where we can sit back and smoke some cigars, and talk a little noise, drink a little scotch, and then, but the rest of the time I spend with my wife and my daughter. I spend with my family. That's my component. I spend a lot of time with my family because those are the main ones. Man, the majority of what I do for my family. So, if I'm taking time out to hang out with the fellas, I ain't taking time to hang out with the fellas just all the time. I rarely hang out. I've somewhat become somewhat of a recluse, which may not be good.
I find that to be a constant.
Really, most business people.
Yeah, it's something that just kind of comes with the territory. It's like I have so much on my plate that I have to become hyper focused, and
right
where I'm not spending time on the business, I have to spend time taking care of those relationships that feed me the most.
Right.
And usually that's your spouse, your kids, your closest friends, and those who add to you. Right. Everything else gets cut out.
Yeah, and a lot of my older friends that know me, they're okay. But some of the other people I met over the years, they can't comprehend, they can't understand it when I tell them I don't have time to just hang out. I really don't. I mean, like you said, I'm hyper focused 90% of the time. So when I'm not focused, I don't plan on wasting my time. I'm really not into a lot of dumb stuff.
To that end, and here's something I want to ask you about, because it's something that many young entrepreneurs battle with. When you first started out, I'm sure that 28 years ago, your circle was different. Your friends were in different places in their lives. Family members were in different places in their lives. What was their response to your going into business for yourself? Was it positive? Was it negative? And how did you deal with it? Deal with the naysayers, so to speak, those who didn't believe in your vision. Did that happen to you? And if so, how did it happen?
Yeah, it was a little bit of both. Some were excited. My father was excited that we were going to go into business. But we had friends, man. We had one friend that used to call us and laugh on the phone. She'd call in the middle of the night, y'all come over here and clean my toilet, hee hee hee, and then hang up the phone, you know. And I've had friends who would dog me out and say I was lying that we had the Olympics, and we've had people that I can't believe y'all still got that little old business. You know, we've done $30 million worth of business. We still got a little old business. So it took years to be truthful after a lot of naysayers. It took years, and after we had success in the newspaper and on television and all that, then people started saying, oh, wow, you guys are really successful. And then all of a sudden we became this big thing, you know. But at that point, God had already defined who was true and who wasn't. So it didn't matter from that point going forward. I just had to keep grinding.
Yeah, at least for myself in my own endeavors here, and you're well aware of them. It's always a constant struggle because those opinions matter to you at some point. You tend to want to get the acceptance, the validation from those within your immediate circle, and sometimes when that doesn't come through, you have to really go within yourself and understand who you are and understand who they are and how they affect you. And then you're able to move forward and block out those who are not affecting you positively,
Right.
which acts as, for me at least, a catalyst to propel me forward. You know?
They can't, this is what I had to figure out. People can't see your vision. They really can't. They can't actually, even though it is logical, even though at times I've even had business plans that were laid out, people cannot see your vision. And it's very rare that somebody does. And a lot of your friends, if they are not entrepreneurs, will not understand what the process is that you're going through. For years, I used to always tell my wife, you know, sometimes I hate going to parties because I can't. I'm like I work for the CIA. I have to be undercover on what I do. Everybody else is sitting there talking about how they didn't get paid, and this is happening in my job, and I'm hanging with the fellas, and all of them are saying all these things, and then I say, "Yeah, I know what you mean. Whew, dude owed me 40 grand, and I still haven't got my money yet." And then the whole conversation just stops. Everybody's just like, you know, but
They can't relate.
They can't relate. It goes back to that money thing. Like I was saying, if I could go back in time, I would have a better understanding of money and the relationship that money has and the usage of money. The people, all money is relative. If you need $40, you need $40. If you need 40,000, you need 40,000. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So that that has been something special for us.
Let me ask you this too, Mark. So when you have, because I think with every business venture, you're always going to have setbacks, and some of them seem devastating. It's like, how can I move forward after this? There was a company that we dealt with who actually was acquired by one of your larger payment services, and essentially they took the book of business that you had with them, which for us accounted for, it was in the range of $400,000 to $500,000 annually, and walked away with it and pretty much said, sue us, right? And we would have to go to the AAA, American Arbitration Association, to try to fight and get the money back. And this was absolutely devastating,
Right.
I didn't quite understand, how can you come back from this? And I'm not sure if things like that have happened to you, but if they have, can you tell us about it and then how you were able to cope with it and then bounce back?
We were, years ago, we got sued. One of the guys that worked for us, we're not exactly sure what happened still, whether he was attacked or whether he passed out, but they found him at the bottom of the stairs. This is when we used to do dart. And he was in a coma. Well, when they took him to the hospital, the person, his his significant other told them that he was attacked. Well, because they told him he was attacked, the insurance company didn't want to cover it. It was one of the clauses, one of their exclusions, robbery. But it was never proven that he was robbed. Well, in the process of it, we were sued for $25 million. The lawsuit never came to fruition when they wanted 25 million, because I didn't have 25 million for one. But what it did do is it taught us a valuable lesson. It cost us about $300,000 cash because we had to defend ourselves. So the attorneys drained us. It cost us $4 million in contracts because as the word got out that this was going on, contracts started dropping off and pulling. We were devastated. I mean, we were down so low that we never thought we'd come back out of it. But by the grace of God, we just kept grinding. And gradually, it happened. It was like they say, how you eat an elephant one bite at a time. It was one contract at a time, just being due diligent with those contracts and making sure that we perform, and then looking at other avenues that would present themselves that we could win. And over time, it just happened. I mean, that was years and years ago. I can't remember when that was. It was so many years ago.
Something you just mentioned there about other customers finding out about this. In my mind, I'm always thinking maybe my competitors caught wind of this and they're informing my other customers. Have you ever dealt with competitors who are just savage beasts, so to speak?
Yeah, matter of fact, that whole situation that occurred, part of it was because one of my competitors. One of our competitors was one who pressed and pushed to try and get investigations to go after us.
Wow!
Because we beat them. The contract that we had beat them on it. I've had even with Dart, I had people that were competitors that were working for Dart undercover as a competitor on bids, and we beat them on the bids, and then they have come at me to try and bribe me to get me out, and then try and use inspections to say that we weren't performing, just to beat us up. I mean, matter of fact, it's happened to me so often that it's made me leery of just about anybody. You know, when they come to you and they're like, "Hey, we need some help. Teach us how." Yeah, sometimes you can, and sometimes you can't. So, yeah, because they will take advantage of you and dog you out. So,
yeah, business is war.
It is.
You know,
it's like being in different battles every day, and you don't know what you're gonna face. You don't know whether you got Goliath across from you or David across from you the next day. You don't know. So you just get up every morning and put this arm on. Let me get ready for it because it's coming.
That's right.
If I only get one shot this day, one gunshot wound, that's it. Oh, that's good. That's a good
day. What would you rather get? This huge right hand or this rock?
Yes.
A question for you, sort of switching gears. And I'm a big person when it comes to just the karma in life, you know, and I have a rather interesting view on it that I won't get into here. But I'm curious, your other community efforts outside of business, can you explain those to us? What do you guys do? How do you help others, mentor others? What do you do to facilitate, other pathways for individuals who are seeking to get into business for themselves or learn from you?
I've tried to work with some organizations as far as to, like I work with the NIBA, New Image Business Association. I worked with them for a little while. to try and help entrepreneurs out. I've volunteered some time to help out at SBA. But what I found is more effective are when people come to me and we actually have a serious conversation about business and what they're trying to do. I've helped, I don't know, probably about 4 people or 5 people over the time, and they have become very successful. One of them, one of the recent ones, he came to me and he really wanted to know how to run his business. I helped him to get, he had a few contracts, but I helped him to understand it and streamline it, structure it. And he just did $3 million this last year.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So I've had that, and I've helped some of the smaller companies get started. I have my father-in-law get his company started. I try and help those who want to help themselves. I used to try and help everybody, but what seems to happen is that people want you to do the work for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, you tell them, well, yeah, okay, well, you can do this. What you need to do is go ahead and get your certification. Well, that means I got to fill out all the paperwork. You going to fill it out for me?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to fill it out for you. Are you going to give me a portion of your profits? No, you're not. So this is what So I've had to learn over the years that I can only help those who want to help themselves. Like I said, we had that program, of course, with halfway houses. We help people that are coming out of penitentiary, and we've done things of that nature and training and all that to try and make people have better skill levels. We do it, and of course, we funded soccer teams and baseball teams and basketball teams and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Cheerleading teams. We've done everything. Yeah, we do a lot of that. And then for our family, we used to, every time somebody graduated, was going to college, we buy them laptops and things like that. We've funded, we funded a lot of kids, a lot of family members. Well, so we try and give back as much as we can. We give a lot to the church and give it a lot to different organizations that we believe in too. So that's what we do, pretty much.
Got it. And are there any national organizations that are in the janitorial services industry that you belong to that have helped, or is there anything nationally speaking with specific regard to minority-owned firms, Black-owned firms, those that may be experiencing the same things that you have? Because, of course, there are some constants, mm-hmm. What we all are exposed to out here and the hurdles that we have to jump over. Are there any organizations that cater to this type of thing?
Well, only one that we're part of. The Black Contractors Association, we're part of that. But the Minority Development Council has been they've really been instrumental in helping us out. They give a lot of seminars on how to get financing and how to control your structures and things of that nature. And then they give a lot of opportunities where you're able to get in front of people or in front of purchasers to be able to win contracts. Mm-hmm. Only hold back on it is the majority of the people that you're going to talk to are going to be city or state, and which means low bid, which is a problem.
Gotcha. Okay. Meaning low bid, meaning lowest bid wins.
Lowest bid wins, baby. And okay. Then good luck.
Got you. Well, hey, Mark, I want to just first say thank you for taking time out with us today. It's a blessing to be able to have you on to share. I know that anyone that takes time out to sit and listen to this, it doesn't matter what industry they're in, just being able to tap your mind and listen to the game and the expertise and the experience that you have to offer and lend on is a blessing.
Thanks, Lou. I really appreciate you. And you're a great guy, too. I love working with you, man. Love working with you.
Thank you, man.
Get the game from today's game-changing entrepreneurs and politicians on Chronicles of Ambition. Catch them on YouTube, Apple, or Google Podcast.